Hello and welcome to a very special episode of Look What I Found, a Mythos Busters production. I'm Sean. Joining me are the other Mythos Busters. We've got Nick and Ian and Scott. Hey, dudes.
Hello.
Hi.
And we've got a very, very special preview for you guys tonight. A card from the Innsmouth conspiracy, even. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it.
Card? A card, Sean?
A card. It is a card.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It is, in fact, Token of Faith. Scott, would you be so
Yes.
kind as to read Token of Faith?
Token of Faith is a 2-cost level 0 survivor asset. It has 1 intellect icon, and it is item and charm traded. It has reaction after a skill test ends in which 1 or more curse or tentacle tokens were revealed. Exhaust Token of Faith. Add that many bless tokens to the chaos bag. And it takes up the accessory slot. And the art
Is ridiculous.
What
Doesn't it
am I
look so
doing?
silly?
Yes. Okay. I'm almost positive. Matt can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm almost positive that this is a very specific reference to a scene in Brendan Fraser's The Mummy, wherein Benny, the cowardly character, is faced with death and like pulls out a cross to pray, and he does a little prayer, and he's like, oh no, and then he like pulls 6 different religious icons out of his shirt, and he does like 3 different prayers in another language.
I remember
it's
that.
so freaking good, and I'm so happy this exists. Rex
While we're on-
might possibly have the most hipster facial hair of anyone I've ever seen ever, and I live in 2020, so that's things.
While we're on the art train, look at the shadows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I
then
love
That's always a thing. The shadows in like 8 cards are different than you know what I mean? Like so it's cool to see that continuing.
So anyways, Token of Faith, the important part.
Yes.
So I mean, Innsmouth is going to have bless and curse tokens, and I assume that they're going whole hog because like the Innsmouth cycle, because the tokens are coming in the big box, they can only do bless and curse cards this cycle. It's not like tarot cards where they could just throw a tarot card in wherever, right? Because the rules are there.
Because they're
This one-
specifically tied to a component.
a physical component, right? But after a skill test ends in which 1 or more curse, like you could like pile in curse tokens and then in one test like flip 3 or 4 of them into bless. I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
Because it's not 1, it's just add that many.
Yeah. Since those tokens daisy chain, like it's going to be beneficial to have more, more curse tokens. Like this is a way for you to get back at them curse tokens and swing it back around. So you'll have 1 or 2 bad tests from all those curses, but then you'll turn it into something good.
Sorry, I'm just recovering from the mental image of daisy chaining tokens.
Daisy can't take this card though.
That's true. That's true. Well, she can versatile it in.
But for real though, like it's cool that it can do multiple. Most of the time, this is only going to do 1, right? This is just going to give you vindication when you like draw the curse into the tentacle, and you're like, ah.
Yeah, and it is kind of like a swing of fate type effect, right? Because as a reminder for those who aren't up on the curse and bless, like once a curse or a bless goes off, it's removed from the bag. So, like, if a curse goes off and you're replacing it with that many bless tokens, like you're basically swinging it back the other way from what you just experienced.
Yeah.
I mean, the first thing off to say, I think, is like you're probably only playing this if curses are going in the bag. Like, you're not going to rely on tentacle token only because how often is that going to go during a game?
Well, unless you're Sean and Scott playing.
True, or what my game last night where I drew like 4 tentacle tokens in a row in a critical test. But most of the time, yeah. So either you're playing Innsmouth, or you're probably using some of them. I think almost all or most of the Innsmouth cards I've seen spoiled officially through the articles or through some of the reveal streams they had some interaction with Bless or Curse. So either you're using those cards or you're playing Innsmouth.
Right.
I would like to add here too that this is after a skill test ends. It's not investigator specific. It's not location specific.
Oh,
Mhm,
yeah.
This
There's-
is board wide.
There is some really important stuff that's not on this card.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And I think too, like we saw, what was the rogue event that was in like the very first preview article, Faustian Bargain?
Yep.
Where it's like you investigators at your location can gain 5 resources, and you throw like a couple curses in the bag. Like imagine Wendy with Token of Faith and just Faustian Bargain. I've got 10 resources, and when those bad things come up, I flip them to bless tokens.
Yeah.
And Survivor has so much like fail forward stuff, so that like all these curse tokens you could be putting in, like we don't know the breadth of how much Survivor can put in the bag yet,
Right.
but the amount they could put in and like just fail forward, and as you're failing, you're then flipping them for successes in the future.
Yeah. Like they're affected
Like-
least by the potential failure.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
I want to see a third level, level 3 version of this. That's the exact same thing, except for instead of after a skill test ends, it says when a curse token is revealed, and it doesn't exhaust. So then it's in the middle of the test. You get to be like, all right, get rid of the curse token, put a bless one in, draw another one. Oh, look, it's another curse token. And then you can just, yeah, exactly. And then get the real daisy chain going, guys.
So get 10 curse tokens in there and get that leveled up version. And then it's just like you reveal like 18 tokens that
One test.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Starking points out, 5 resources, add 2 curse tokens is Faustian Bargain.
So,
Oh.
yeah, I mean, I feel like this is just one of those cards that if you're playing in Innsmouth or if you're playing a hard Cursed Bless, group probably,
Mhm.
or even, I suppose, if it's just enough cards within your own deck. Level 0, 2 cost, accessory slot. I feel like in Survivor, that's not contest.
No, you've got
There's
the
some
teddy bear.
You got
good
Mr.
options,
Potter's.
but yeah.
They've got Rabbit's Foot, which is pretty reliable, like especially leveled up Rabbit's Foot.
Yeah,
So-
and if you're playing that fail forward,
Yeah.
right?
So I think this fits. I think you'd only put this in if you're going hard token play, Curse Bless play.
I think what makes this hard for me to evaluate is just not having played Innsmouth yet. I don't have a
Yeah.
good sense for how often these curse and bless are gonna come out. But I know during FarkhamCon when we did our mess with the Mythos Busters, we were giving people the opportunity to add bless and curse tokens. And so that wasn't a ton added. Like the people were definitely using that option, but they weren't necessarily making it rain. But even then, I still feel like we
You
saw
saw
those
'em.
tokens come out a lot.
yeah.
So I feel like even with a moderate amount of like curses going in, you're gonna get some value out of this.
Probably.
Even think about like when you're playing on a normal campaign and you've got 2 -1s and 2 -2s. So that's 4 tokens in the bag. Let's say you put 4 curses or 4 blesses in the bag. Think of how often you pull a -1 or a -2. Like that happens a lot, right? Like
Not as often as I want.
no. These tokens, for better or for worse, are coming out. So
Yeah.
now, I wonder of all the different ways we could get curse tokens.
Wouldn't it be nice if there was one card that just burst in a bunch of curses all at once?
Wouldn't that be great?
That'd be so good. Like, one might consider it a weakness, but I don't think it would be. for this
Yeah,
card.
I wonder what class that card would go in.
Oh, geez, I don't know. Well, now Token of Faith is gone, so thanks for joining us, guys, for this special card review. Oh, now it's back. Sorry, Sean.
Apparently, I don't have the hot swap down. It's falling apart. You guys gave me so much time with that segue.
I was trying.
I feel like I drew a real life curse token. It's almost
We
as
were
if
like-
I drew Dread Curse. Nick.
There we go.
We were lined up on the runway, just smooshing you in, giving you the whole clear.
The guy with the orange sticks is waving you in.
Like, I'm sorry, if you're coming to Mythos Busters live stream expecting production value, I'd think you're coming to the wrong stream.
So Dread Curse is a new basic weakness. Curse traded, surprising nobody. Revelation, add 5 curse tokens to the Chaos Bag. And that's it. Pretty sick. Like, especially if you're playing, because I have a feeling that not just Survivor, but I have a feeling that we'll be seeing a couple cards in each class, or at least a few classes, that mitigate curse tokens. That's just a guess. So I look at this and I don't think this is that bad of a weakness. Like, I almost put this up there with Indebted, where I'm like, yeah, okay, fine, that's sure, whatever. Let it ride, man.
If you draw this in 4-player, like,
Yeah,
your entire team is helping you deal with this.
yeah,
Like,
exactly.
hey, if everyone can take one test at -2, there's only one left in there, and my weakness did nothing.
Now, if we
You know,
look at this through the lens of like an Ayn Rand, though,
Why would you ever choose to use that lens? Why is this
Try not
lens
to.
something worth?
I don't know, it was really dusty and cracked in the corner. It seemed like it needed some love. On the other hand, like, your teammate draws this, you just go, all right.
Yeah.
I don't think this is nothing. I'm gonna have to play with it before I can actually agree or disagree with you, Nick. I don't know if it's on Indebted levels of easy, but I do think it is. I think any weakness where there's not an immediate slap to the face, that does warrant some consideration.
No, Sean, you don't know, comrade. This is not your weakness.
It's
This is our weakness.
our
Comrade.
weakness. Our dread curse, comrade.
Yes.
This is also just complete with its own Kafka quote, so you know it's.
And
It's
that art piece, I'm really loving. That's
Yes,
really
that's a
cool.
great.
It's
piece
very
of art.
Bloodborne.
Mm-hmm.
Scratch the board. As one
Reset the counter.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I guess I'm also acting under the assumption that you'll draw like 3 of these curse tokens at once. You know what I mean? Like, a bunch of them will come out for one test, and you're like, well, I guess I just ate shit for one test, and now I'm in the clear. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
so that's very true that you could just put all these in there and draw nothing but +1s and 0s for a while, and then you're starting to sweat. Like, oh no, when are they going to show up?
It's
And then you draw
almost like
curse -2.
Yeah, and then you draw all 5 of them.
it's almost
Okay,
like
so
haunted
minus
with
one.
charges, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's an interesting way to look at it.
I feel like in general, curse and bless are going to be really hard to quantify. Like I
Yes.
said that before
Mhm.
about like the seal mechanic and token manipulation type decks, but this is in that same family where
Yep.
it's like it doesn't make the kind of impact that like a Silver Twilight Acolyte staring you in the face coming out has, or even Amnesia discarding your hand. Like, it's like, okay, throw them in the bag, set it and forget it. And a lot of times it is going to screw you, but you're not going to necessarily relate it back to Dread Curse in like a very like clear
Yep.
way.
Mm.
So this one does feel to me when I first saw it, and if I drew this as my weakness, I'd be like, okay, that's a win for me. But then it would be hard to kind of quantify like how much it's really screwing up my game compared to some
Yeah.
other weaknesses.
And if you draw this for your basic weakness and you're playing like no test Preston, you're like, okay. Turns out I don't have a weakness this game.
In that case, I would also say it is probably as useless as Indebted. Impressive.
Do blesses and curses carry over from one scenario to the next? Like, if you end the
No.
scenario, they do not. They're always taken out at the end of the scenario.
Correct.
Okay. Then if you draw this late game, awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
So-
the thing too is this will cycle through your deck. Like, this isn't set aside either. So
True.
if you have a seeker who has this,
If you're playing big draws, like if you're playing that min deck that I've been playing for
you're
our
playing Mark,
Dream Eaters, where I go through my deck twice in a game, in an average game.
So, point of interest, and I don't think any of us can really answer this definitively until we've actually gotten our hands on the Innsmouth conspiracy and played with Bless and Curse a little bit. But it does make me wonder, like, with this basic weakness, am I going to actually keep this in my normal weakness pool? Because if I'm not playing a deck that has Bless and Curse, and I'm not playing Innsmouth, and I draw this as my weakness, am I going to go,
No, I think you throw it in still. Like, I mean, I carry around all my chaos tokens, right, in one bag, and then I have my other bag that's my game bag, right? Like, and you make the thing, and my blesses and curses will be in there. I think this stands alone as a fine weakness. Like,
I think so too.
I don't think you need the token play for it. Like, it token plays on itself, right?
well, I'm saying less from maybe a mechanical standpoint and more from just a
Themey fun.
art, just from like moving physical pieces of things around in the real world. I suppose you play on TTS though, so I'm the one to.
I play it like
But like, it just requires you getting different components out that you wouldn't have otherwise needed. So are you gonna go? I'm gonna draw a different weakness sometimes.
You know what, Sean? I am probably in that camp because my least favorite aspect of this game is how much I have to move my collection around and reset the bag. Like Dream Eaters, I love the campaign, but dear God, could we not have had the same chaos bag across both games? Like, please.
you don't have chaos bags with 2 sets of tokens.
No,
Oh.
I don't. I mean, I have enough. The thing is, I have enough tokens to do it. I just don't have enough coin cases. Like, I don't have two full sets of tokens cased up. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
And for those of us for whom, I work from home now and I sit 8 hours in front of a computer. Like, Arkham time is decidedly not computer time. So, like, while I recognize the convenience and the wonderfulness of TTS, most of the time when I can, I prefer to play physical just because it gets my eyes off of pixels. So
for sure.
It's just one of those things where I'm sure it's actually not a big thing. Just toss some curse tokens off to the side and off you go. But it was just a question I had.
Yeah. I can see the validity of your question. I understand why you might be like, nah, I just don't wanna. You know,
I mean, it's for the same reason. Like when I draw weaknesses and I draw chronophobia, I'm like, no, I'll draw again. I'll draw it until I get something else.
Chronophobia like 14 times.
Yes,
exactly.
It's always chronophobia. God,
chronophobia, internal injury, they can just be gone. Like I probably won't even shuffle them in anymore. So
I'm to that point, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so fun cards. I know, like, I want to say like I'm super excited for Innsmouth, and I am. But I also just got all 5 starter decks today, and as I was talking about earlier, my Return to Forgotten Age got delayed, so I got that at the same time. I feel like I am literally drowning in cards. So, while I'm excited, I am glad this is a little bit off in the distance. But Innsmouth seems like it's going to be really fun.
Yeah, excited for it.
So yeah, thank you for joining us for this installment of Look What I Found, and thank you to FFG for continuing to supply us with these spoiler cards. They're quite fun to talk about. If you're not in our Discord already, please come join. It's a bastion of sanity on the internet and a great place to talk Arkham amongst several other 100 things that you might want to talk about in our Discord server. And we're about to record a live episode there right now, so hop over and come talk some Arkham with us. We're going to be reviewing the Nathaniel Cho deck. I don't know why those words came out so weird.
That is correct.
I mean, you got them out. That's the important.
Stick and move.
Like I've been podcasting for over 5 years at this point. I would think I'd be able to get my words in the right order most of the time. All right, so anyway, thank you for joining us for this segment of Look What I Found, and we'll see y'all in Discord in just a minute. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.